You know, guys, I'm not gonna lie, man. This team really, for a split second, got my hopes up. I'm not gonna bullshit you. This team really got my hopes up at the end of that game. And it's crazy because I'll be the first to tell you, man. After Eckler got that, what was it, his third or fourth touchdown?
Fourth touchdown.
I said game was over.
And it appeared that way.
I said game was over, and then the next offensive drive, Najee would get hurt. He would come back, but he'd get hurt, and I'm like, just get him out the game. There's no point because you can't fault me for thinking that the game was over because the defense couldn't stop nothing at that point. They couldn't stop a damn thing. So you can't fault me for giving up. And it's ironic because I criticized this team for giving up in the past, and here I am doing that to them. I should know better.
I mean, at the time, could you really blame us? I mean, the offense wasn't consistent. The offense wouldn't really go down the field consistently and score. But if there's one thing that I got to give the Steelers, even in loss, and it's something that they really didn't show all year, is that they have a lot of heart. They have a lot of integrity. And they showed what this team could very well be, even with the tough stretch of games we have remaining.
You know, I can't disagree. You know, something we've been criticizing the Steelers for is where's the passion, where's the heart that we've seen from previous teams. We haven't seen it all year. Tonight we did, even in defeat. But defeats like this, it's heartbreaking, don't get me wrong, but it's on a positive note like, all right, you know what? This team does have some fight in it. This team can still push themselves, even in huge deficits.
Yeah. Because the first three losses that we sustained, you know, we were down by double-digit points, and there were times the offense could have went out there and gotten more points on the board. Show fight, show heart.
And don't get it twisted. The offense did leave points off the board in the first half.
Yeah, there were times where they made several questionable offensive play calling, specifically Matt Canada. There were times they could have taken other opportunities, like the turnover on downs when they tried to shuffle it to Pat Frymuth, and that didn't work.
On 4th and goal, which was a stupid play call. Or even before that, Claypool was wide open, but Ben underthrew him. And we had to settle for, what was it? Was it 3 at that point, or was that the same drive where we...
I think it was the same drive. I think you're correct.
It might have been the same drive where we pitched it to Frymuth on 4th down.
But even then...
we left 6 points off the board there.
We did.
And we made an early red zone drive that only led to a field goal. But the Steelers would, surprisingly, score on a consistent basis towards the end of the game. And I know they kind of had to because they were down so much, but that shows the heart that we've been wanting this team to show, that they've been lacking all year. And props to them, man.
Yeah,
even in defeat.
Because like I said, the 3 losses, they didn't show that. They didn't even try. They basically gave up. Like, consistently, every week. They weren't aggressive. They didn't go for it on 4th down. They punted it, or they would just go for a field goal. Like, they didn't care. They gave up. But in this game, they showed true heart of what this team is really capable of, even with the injuries that we sustained.
Right.
This team showed a lot of heart. I'm glad they did because it's something that they needed to do, they need to have for the opponents that we have left.
Yeah,
they need
sure.
to. They needed to, even in loss.
And that's why this loss hurts a little more because this was a big game because every team in the AFC North won except us. The AFC North is tight. I could be wrong. I think we sit 3rd right now because of our tie last week, but also because we have that win over the Browns right now. We might be sitting at 3rd if I'm correct. But also, it was a big conference game because this will have playoff implications.
Yeah, it definitely will. Definitely will. And it hurts losing this game. It really does. Coming into this game, man, me and Dan
had zero expectations.
We
knew exactly what to expect from the defense. The offense, I mean, I'll give Ben credit, and he showed it today.
Oh, you definitely got to give Ben credit. And you know how we've been about Ben pretty much this year.
You know, maybe Ben shouldn't practice for the rest of the year because every time he comes off the couch or whatever, off the injury report, whether he's sick or hurt and he doesn't practice all week, he plays better. And he did today.
Yeah, this game, he had his best game this season thus far.
3 touchdowns, 270-plus yards. I mean,
He drove us down. He drove us down the field because we couldn't set the tone early by running the ball, which was what we felt was the main game plan.
No, because Najee only got the ball 12 times for 39 carries and a rushing touchdown.
And I feel like he could have had more if we set the tone early and tried to run the ball effectively early, but we didn't do that.
No, and instead the Chargers did that to us. They killed the clock the majority of the first half.
Yeah, dude, I swear to God, the whole first half flew by in 10 minutes.
They had the Chargers had only 3 offensive possessions in the first half. That's because they killed the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept scoring because the defense couldn't stop nothing. That's what we should have done to start the game. We had the opening possession. We should continue to feed Najee, run down the field, and stop the clock. Or run the clock, rather. Because we knew we were losing so many guys on the defense. We knew what we were going to expect from this defense. And none of us were wrong.
No.
This defense was terrible tonight. They made some plays when they needed to. I'll give them props. And go figure it to the only guys that stepped up, Cam Hayward and Cam Sutton. It seems like every Cam out there in the NFL balled today.
Pretty much.
To be real with you.
No lie.
But we knew what this defense was going to get itself into against a high-powering offense. And we didn't start the game by feeding Najee the ball against the worst rushing defense in the league statistically or draining the clock to keep defense off the field. Because by just how you seen the game, it was a true back and forth deal. It was a shootout. It had the makings of a shootout. The Steelers did kind of leave points off the board for sure. There were some questionable play calls, some questionable decisions for sure, especially on that Najee rushing touchdown. Before that, the play that truly changed the tide was obviously the Miles Killebrew blocked punt. That put us at the 3-yard line. But it took us 4 plays and a lucky penalty to finally give the ball to Najee within the goal line.
It took all that for us to do something that we should have done in the first place. And that's feed the rock to the Najee.
It took us 4 plays in the penalty to do that.
To legit run the ball properly.
But hey, we got in, and we kept the game close. In fact, there were times where the team actually kept the game to a 1-possession game. And, of course, the defense would let go and keep the game back to a 2-possession game. But that's when the offense would go no huddle and Eric Ebron would score a touchdown. And the next defensive drive, Cam Hayward would bat the ball in the air. Cameron Sutton would rush and get an interception. And thus, the Pittsburgh Steelers would respond with a screen pass touchdown to Freiermuth, which tied the game.
And at that point, we were like, what the hell's going on
What is going on?
Where the hell was this team in the first half? Because in the first half, they were non-existent. They had 10 points altogether.
They had 10. Actually, let me get the box score. The Steelers had 10 points. The score was
17-10 at half.
17-10 at half. And then heading into the fourth quarter, it was 27-10. The Steelers scored 27 unanswered in the fourth quarter alone.
27 points. Bro, we could barely score 27 points at all this season, I think, besides, maybe the Bears game.
We scored in 1 quarter. That's insane.
It's like, where was that in the first half, though?
Right.
If you had a better mentality and a game plan, right? It could have been tied at halftime, or it could have been a whole lot more closer before halftime. Or even in the third quarter.
But I'll give the offense this. They were consistently going down the field and getting in the red zone. But again, they left points off the board. Specifically on 4th and goal.
Yeah.
But that's about it that I can think of.
No, but the offense, especially Ben. We've been very critical of Ben Roethlisberger this season.
And there were a few passes where it could have went the other way. And again, he did underthrow Claypool, which should have been 6. It cost us 6 because that would lead to the Freiermuth turnover on downs.
And actually on the first opening drive that we did, or had, I should say, Ben did throw an interception to Derwin James, but we did get lucky because he didn't have full possession, and once he did, his foot was already out of bounds.
But we will give Ben credit, man.
He needed to step up, considering he was battling COVID. He wasn't practicing with the team for 2 weeks.
And the team was behind.
And we couldn't run the ball.
By 3 touchdowns. And he would lead this team to a tie. with some big plays from the defense as well.
He would lead this team back from a 2-touchdown deficit.
A three possession deficit.
Pretty
yes.
much. Like, I got to give Ben props. This was his best game this season thus far. I am happy that Ben was able to step up, that he was able to do what he can do. Now my only hope is that Ben can do it more consistently.
Right.
And that he can do it when he really needs to the most.
But at the same time, I don't want this team to rely on Ben to do that every game.
No, of course not. I don't want them to do it.
And that's why we say, this game sure had the makings of a back-and-forth deal because it sure as hell did.
And that's why we say we could have set the tone early by running the ball with Najee early.
But they didn't do that. But they did show heart at the end of the game. Deontay had a fantastic game. He made a hell of a catch, a great throw from Ben, but a better catch from Deontay in the end zone. Gave us our first touchdown of the game. Ebron had a touchdown. Frymuth had a touchdown. Claypool had a great game in his first game back from last week. Najee didn't really do much on the ground, but that's because we were down so much because the defense fucking sucked today. Outside of two plays specifically, which was the pick from Sutton and the fourth down stop from Schobert. But that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Highsmith had a sack and a half. Taco Charlton shared a sack with Highsmith. We had an interception, Cameron Sutton.
Cam Hayward was he was the leader on that defense today. And Cam Hayward, man, we all seen it all year. This dude can ball. This dude ages like a fine wine, but he truly showed it tonight. On prime time, everybody watching.
Yeah. Like this man, I tell you what, like he's got heart, like so much heart in his team. Like there was a play where Justin Herbert ran so much where he almost had a touchdown, actually. He almost broke Terrell Edmonds' freaking goddamn ankles. Where Cameron Heyward was all the way down from the line of scrimmage, and he literally hustled his way up to stop Herbert from scoring a rushing touchdown. A long one at that. Like, that goes to show you the type of heart and mentality and
the hustle.
And the true player that he is.
Like, he saved a touchdown there. I mean, I know they would eventually score anyway.
Yeah, they did, but it just goes to show the type of player Cam Hayward is. Like, he didn't give up. He didn't wait. He didn't let the other players try to stop him. Like, he went out of his way to literally go up there for a defensive lineman to go up there and make that stop.
But outside of that, the defense fucking sucked today. The secondary was horrific. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams both had great games. Austin Eckler was terrific. And the receiving game, also on the ground. He had 2 touchdowns on the ground and 2 in the air.
Yeah, 4 total touchdowns for Eckler. Like,
Justin Herbert had 90 yards on the ground. The ground. Justin Herbert. Every third down, he would run it for first down.
Yeah, if you saw an open hole, an open lane, he was going to run it. And it was not surprising to me, but it was also frustrating at the time. It's like, why do we not have a spy for this guy, considering he kept doing it? Like, why would you not have Devin Bush as a spy, considering he's got that speed and he can make that tackle?
Right. But this defensive performance did not surprise me whatsoever.
No, with everybody out, I mean.
That's why, like, if you guys watched our live stream with Code Steel, shout out to him. It was an intense live stream. But if you watched the live stream we did with him, it was whenever the defense will allow something, like, I was, like, emotionless. Like in some aspects, because I knew what was going to happen.
A big gain, passing or running or a touchdown, it's like,
Because we had Minka out, we had Hayden out, we had Watt out. We're like, there's no pressure. There's no consistent pressure at that. Secondary's getting bummed to hell. So many guys got burned today. A lot of people were open. So, like, they were driving down the field like it was nothing and killing the clock at the same time.
Yeah.
So none of that surprised me whatsoever. So we're like, okay, this offense got to score consistently.
Yeah, because I said several times, because of these guys are out, you can't rely on the defense as much as you would.
No.
So the offense had to do something.
But honestly, I know I said it in the preview that if we do lose this game, which we did, I don't want to hear Steelers fans make an excuse to say that we lost because Watt's out, Minka's out, Hayden's out. At that point, honestly, you could make that argument because those guys do make an impact.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. I said the same thing with you.
Watt specifically, and I'll say even Minka.
Yeah.
Because
like if those guys were in there may have been a difference. There definitely could have been. But
now, secondary-wise, the secondary was almost no different because the secondary was still kind of
and
suspect.
That's what I was going to get to, because we all know this defense is good on paper. It has a lot of talent, a lot of potential. But when it comes to this defense, when it's up against a true explosive and fiery and consistent offense like the Chargers or like earlier in the season, like when the Bengals beat us, when the Packers beat us, those hot offenses. Like, I know the defense is good, but my concern is, can they really keep up with those consistent, fiery offenses, even with Minka, Hayden, and Watt involved?
And I saw almost no difference with this secondary specifically. Secondary was getting beat almost all year by certain guys and certain coverage schemes, and that was no different today. In the pass rush, obviously we didn't expect too much of an edge rush because Watt's out. If Watt was in there against the backup right tackle, that could have been different. That could help
completely different,
because the pass rush, Watt specifically helps out the secondary a lot. So, yeah, you could make the statement that if those guys are in, this game could have changed. We could have won this game.
It still would have been a hell of a challenge for the defense regardless. Because Justin Herbert's a great young quarterback. He's smart, intelligent, and he can just spread the ball around anywhere and just make smart decisions.
And it sucks that those guys are out because I was excited for the challenge. But Herbert completely cooked us. Almost 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that pick. Yeah. But also 90 yards on the ground. I was not surprised by anything that this defense did, but I love that they made some plays when they needed to. It's just the early mistakes hurt us in the end. Anyway.
Oh, they caught up to us.
But it also, you could say the same thing for the offense. Like, they stepped up when they needed to. They scored 27 unanswered in the fourth. They scored repeatedly. But the early foes hurt us. And, I was just thinking, like, we said, like, against tougher competition, that if the defense continues to do what they've been doing all year, like blown coverages and allowing this type of stuff that we saw today or even weeks prior, and if this offense doesn't continue to be consistent or score repeatedly or keep the defense off the field specifically, it would hurt us, and it kind of did today. Could this be a foreshadowing what we see when these guys get back healthy? Because that's my concern.
That's my concern as well, because we have good players on the defense. We still got holes there. And, I mean, it's not really hard for any offense in the league to really look at the holes we have on the defense, and they're going to take advantage of that, like a rush defense.
Yeah, the blueprint's there.
Or even the opposite side when Joe Hayden and Minka Fitzpatrick are on the right side.
Right.
And you got Son and Edmonds and whoever else on the left. I mean, they're going to pick apart that all day long.
And, again, the offense, I'll give them credit. They really showed hard. They kept it competitive. They scored repeatedly when they needed to. Guys stepped up a lot. But the points off the board sure hurt us. Some of the play calling hurt us. Some of the mistakes early on. That's got to change. That's got to work up for sure. Pretty much what I'm trying to say is I am so proud of the Steelers' heart that they showed at the end of the game. It sucks we couldn't come with the victory. You know, this game almost reminded me of the Colts game last year, where I went into the game the same way, expecting nothing. And then they made a comeback in the second half. Unfortunately, this didn't end the same way. I am so proud of the heart that they showed. That's something that they needed to show. It's something they've lacked all year, and that gives me hope heading into the next 7 games, which it only gets tougher.
Yeah. Even in loss, if there's positives, it's definitely the heart, the integrity, the determination that they really had.
But again, if the defense continues to make some mistakes, like the running game or blown coverages in the secondary, even with some of these starters back in, hopefully next week against the Bengals, can the offense continue to do what they did today?
Can Ben continue to do what he did tonight?
Can the coaching staff help out the defense? Can the offense altogether help out the defense by keeping them off the field to limit them? Like, everyone's got to start to step up.
Yeah, you got to help each other out, because you can't just rely on one part of the team and then just have the other part not show up. Like, it's literally got to be a full collective helping effort for both offense and defense.
Because if some of these early foes happen repeatedly, like as the weeks go on, then I think we'll start to see more stuff like this. So they got to be able to fix that up in the next coming weeks, starting next week with the Bengals. But this game, man, Steelers lose 41-37. And showed a lot of heart, showed a lot of passion, man, that we've all wanted to see from this team, and I'm damn proud to see it tonight. It's a disappointing loss because
conference-wise and division-wise.
That, but also, like, even after, I'll admit it, I'm not afraid to admit it, I gave up after Eckler's 4th touchdown. Even after that, you know, the play started to happen, the Killebrew, blocked punt, the interception from Sutton, the tie game, everything. You know, it's just It really did give me confidence. It did really give me hope that, like, you know what, this team's gonna fucking do it again. They're gonna shut me up. And in some aspect tonight, they did shut me up. I just hope they continue to do so.
Yeah, hopefully they go into Cincinnati next week and just remain consistent, show that heart, that determination again, and just get back on track and show us, what this team can really turn out to be. Honestly. Because this team has showed a lot in this game, even in loss. This loss hurts. It does. In conference rankings and division rankings. But this team against the Chargers team that's pretty solid, and props to the Chargers. They came out and balled in their home stadium, although it didn't really feel like a home game for the Chargers because Steeler Nation took over that stadium.
All the time. Always a home game.
But the Steelers, man, showed a lot of heart, and I'm damn proud they did. They just got to be consistent. That's the one thing that the Steelers have always been questioned about this year. It's a consistency. Hopefully they go next week against Cincinnati and show what they can really do.
Absolutely.
But I am proud, even in loss, of this team.
Nothing was funny says we win this game if Minka played. No way they get that last touchdown. I actually agree. See, the problem with that play was Williams ran a fade, and I think Allen ran I think it was an in route or a drag or something, or maybe a slant. So Sutton was covering Williams, and Norwood was playing free safety, obviously. Sutton followed Allen on the drag while Norwood did the same. It was miscommunication. I think Norwood should have stuck up with Williams on the deep route while Sutton covered the drag.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. In fact, they both covered the drag and Williams was wide open.
Yeah, and that's what led to the touchdown, which hurt. It really did. Because, again, the Steelers showed, they teased us a bit. Like, can they really do it? Can they make this comeback? And it was just one bad miscommunication play right there. It's something that the defense does need to fix up. They've had some miscommunication issues, some missed tackles issues still in this game. There's still stuff that they got to fix, they got to adjust to. They got to get better at, definitely. And going up against high-powered offenses, that's priority number one for the defense. Is step the hell up. Backup starters, whatever. Stop the opposing offenses.
And, with some of these guys getting back, hopefully next week, guys like Minka, Hayden, maybe Watt. So
yeah, because it's a division matchup. The Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, they beat us earlier this year. I think they actually beat us by double digits, if I'm not mistaken.
That was our only game this year. We had 0 sacks. That's due because Watt was out.
Yeah.
And we had him out tonight, but we were able to get to Herbert a few times, especially when we needed to. But even though I feel proud of this near comeback, specifically the heart, the passion that they showed, I'm still going to hold on to, like, man, if we would have done this and that, we could have walked away with a victory.
Yeah.
If this would have happened, if that would have happened, obviously. And those are mistakes this team has to pick up on because against stricter competition coming up, no offense to the Chargers, they're no walk in the park, obviously, tonight. But against different competition coming up, you can't be pulling these mistakes. Otherwise, you're not going to get a chance to come back. Or you're not even going to have a chance to hold a lead.
Exactly.
Or keep on to the lead.
Every opportunity you got to be on point and take advantage of it.
But speaking of heart, man, again, shout out to Cold Steel. He said something at the end of his stream. He said something very passionate that struck with me.
And me as well.
I want to show that clip right here, right now, real quick, because it is, it hits. It really does. So I'm going to play this right here, right now. Hope you guys can hear this.
I'm going to say something that's probably going to shock some people, but I love this fucking team, man.
Yeah.
I do. I love this fucking team, and I know that even though right now it feels like shit, I have faith that it may not be this season, but we'll be back on top someday. We will be. Because we're the Pittsburgh fucking Steelers, man. They can't hold us down for long. We are and I don't give a shit what fan base is watching right now. We are the best organization in the NFL, in football. And I don't care who doesn't like it. You know why? Because we just turned this stadium into a home fucking game. And we do it week in and week out. No days off. Whether our season's good or bad. And that is the honest to God truth, man.
Dude, that hit me hard.
Yeah, bro. That's some passionate shit. And that's from someone that's criticized the team. Here, along with us.
That's true passion right there. That's from the heart, from a long time Steelers fan. A man that doesn't really see much in this team. He's admitted it, but it's just something about this game, man, that just completely poured out. And maybe this is the start of the Steelers starting to show what they can be capable of if they fix up the mistakes and adjust to any mistakes that they do in these games. They fix up the messes, they be more consistent, they score touchdowns, defense steps up. Maybe they can really show what the team can be. Not trying to get my hopes up. I'm not. But this team showed a lot of heart, and that is something that I will mainly take away from this loss.
Right.
Because I did not expect 27 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. I didn't. Going into the fourth quarter, I didn't expect anything. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And you can't really blame me considering how the team played in the first half and the entire third quarter.
Specifically the defense. The offense were able to get in the red zone at a pretty decent consistency. But the defense couldn't stop shit. The defense couldn't stop a nosebleed, bro. And yeah, they made plays. They got our hopes up, but at the end they didn't prevail.
No.
It was a near incredible comeback.
And those early mistakes, man, they will come back to bite you. So the Steelers obviously look back at the tape, figure out what you can fix, figure out what you can do, and just get better.
But you know what?
Use this to get better.
Maybe that's maybe this is where they turn the tide, man.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I really am. Like I said, I'm not trying to get my hopes up. I'm not. But this was completely unexpected from me.
No.
From this team. Honestly.
We knew what to expect going into this game, which was exactly the first three quarters. That's exactly what we expected into this game. The fourth came out of nowhere.
It did.
And yes, the Steelers are third in the division now. Browns are still fourth because we have that win over the Browns.
Yeah. Which sucks. I mean,
and it don't get easier next week because we got the Bengals in another big divisional matchup. Big divisional matchup.
Not going to be easy, man. The Bengals, man, they are not to be underestimated. They are a much better team than what they used to be for several years. Joe Burrow is looking to be a true franchise quarterback for them. He's got targets out the ass. They got a great running game. Defense has stepped up. The Bengals are not to be underestimated. We can say that we own them, this and that and everything, but they've beaten us the past 2 times, and I don't want it to be 3. I want us to beat the fucking Bengals.
If I'm correct, you can correct me on this. That's in Cincinnati, right?
I think, because I think they beat us at Heinz Field, unfortunately. So yeah, go into enemy territory again and try to get a dub. Right. Try to get back on a winning streak. That's what I want. That's what I hope for.
I hope so too, man. We gotta beat the Bengals next week. It's a big divisional game. Big divisional game.
No doubt about it, brother.
But man, it's just God. They did it to me again.
And they do it every single week. It's something about this team, man. Whether they're low scoring, high scoring, whether they lead the game and then pretty much dip in the second half, or they play horrible in the first half and just make a comeback in the second half. One way or another, Steelers somehow just try to tease us one way or another. No matter what. It's how they are. It's how they play. It's how they'll be for forever, honestly.
But it's like this team is so fucking... Here, I'm trying to explain it. So when I go into a game like this where I'm expecting nothing, they surprise me.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, specifically in the second half, and then they get my hopes up. God damn it!
I don't know what it is. It's every single week. I swear to God, I don't know what it is.
God Almighty.
And in some weird, odd way, I want that shit to stop. But it's
a drug you can't say no to.
No, it's something that, you wouldn't have it any other way in some weird fashion as a Steelers fan. I mean, I don't think any other NFL fan can really understand how we're relating because not every NFL team plays like the Steelers do every week.
Right.
All the time.
Ty Gaston says O-line completely gave up on the last drive. Yeah, Joe Haig allowed 2 sacks. That was horrible.
That's what really, I mean, I felt like...
I would have loved to see if Ben would have let us down the field.
But
the O-line just let us down. completely let us down.
Yeah, because obviously Kevin Dotson's on IR, and we had C.J. Hasenauer step in at left guard, and then he went out with, what injury was it?
A shoulder.
A shoulder injury, I think.
But better question is, what was that play on 4th and 32? You throw it short?
Yeah, that's something that just had me scratching my head, and I was really questioning during Cold Steel's live stream. It's like, I understand 4th and 32. It's something that's almost impossible that you're not going to convert, but you never know in this league, and it's something that they definitely could have tried and at least give it a chance, and they didn't. They literally dunked it 5 yards.
XC says, what kind of coverage was that on the touchdown? It's just Norwood made a rookie mistake. It was miscommunication.
It was bad miscommunication.
Sutton covered Allen on the drag while Norwood should have covered the fade with Williams. Instead, Norwood thought he was covering the drag and that Sutton was going to cover the fade. Norwood, as the deep safety there, should have covered the fade. Norwood made a rookie mistake. That's all there is to it.
It's bad miscommunication.
It's just, yeah, the team, the players, the coaching made some mistakes, but I gotta give them props for the effort, for the heart at the end of the game. So that's, in defeat, that's all I can ask for is for heart, is for effort. Instead of losing and getting blown out on prime time like I thought they would, especially at the end of the third quarter.
At least the way it looked, yeah.
The way it looked specifically.
At least go out there and just show, hey, we fought our asses off. We did what we could.
Yeah.
Because you saw Hayward get hype. You saw Son get hype a bit. You saw Ben getting hype after the touchdown.
Right.
Like, you saw these players getting hype, just getting the emotions go right through them, especially Hayward. Like when you talk about a true leader on this team, on the defense in general, it's Cam Hayward to a T.
Oh, for sure.
I fucking love Cam Hayward.
But, man, it's just the early foes hurt us in the end. The play calling, the points off the board, the defense specifically. Good Lord.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it's something that they definitely have to look back at and try to fix up, especially if they want to have a shot at the playoffs.
For sure. But, against tougher competition coming up, they just have to fix on that. Otherwise, they're not going to get a chance to make a comeback, or they're not going to get a chance to take the lead, Yeah. So that's all there is to it, man. We're going to get into the chat a little bit. Let's see what we got here. Remember, Tomlin and Ben are 14-3 versus Harbaugh when the Ravens come in above 500. The fact that Tomlin is only up 15-14 speaks volumes. That's true, man. We got 2 crazy games to look forward to with the Ravens. Those are going to be big divisional games.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. And might I just say, fuck the Chicago Bears. Like, dude, I thought the Vikings blowing out pissed me off, dude. Like, the Bears, bro, you had that shit.
They had it.
They had that shit.
But they let a second-string, undrafted, second-year quarterback go down the fucking field in a minute and a half.
Like, fuck you, Bears. Honestly, screw you. Like, come on, man. Like, how does Miami fucking help us? Like, thank you, Miami. Thank you for what you did. But really, Chicago can't do it? Really?
Yeah. I'll tell you this, though. Heading into the Bengals game next week, I'm feeling a little more confident because, let's see, like XC just said, we need to avoid that Cincy sweep. The Bengals did look good today. But I'm feeling, because, it's just, I don't know, maybe I'm underestimating the Bengals, but I don't see a sweep from the Bengals. You know what I'm saying?
After the first matchup, the way we performed and the way we were and the way the Bengals beat us,
and after a tie and then a loss here on primetime,
and going on the road again, the Steelers are gonna be pissed.
Like, they fucking better.
They better have a strong mentality. Like, bro, we need to play better. We need to do better.
Right.
We got to win some games. But have that 2005 mentality, man.
Yeah. In your opinion, guys, is Cam or TJ the MVP this season? Co-MVPs.
Co-MVPs. I can't just pick one.
Co-MVPs.
Both of them are so impactful. Both of them.
That defense when it really mattered turned into Seattle. You're not wrong, says outside Steelers fan.
No, that's true. You're right.
No way our defense with Watt, Hayden, and Minka out is going to hold against that loaded Chargers offense with Justin Herbert, a quarterback, plus Eckler, Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen. You can make that argument.
Yeah, it's a high-powered offense.
And again, the criticisms we've given the Steelers defense is the secondary specifically has been suspect all year, even with those guys in, so it would have been the same story. Watt, however, would have made an impact. I do believe that, because he always does.
Every single freaking week, he makes some sort of impact. He's a game changer. That's what Watt is.
Yes.
But even with those guys in, it still would have been a difficult task against a high-powered offense.
That's why we say, like, these early foes, they got to fix up these mistakes, because even though we're going to get some of those guys back, I'm still not going to say that the defense is fantastic with those guys back in. They still make similar mistakes.
Yeah, they do.
Specifically in the secondary.
Whatever running back we face.
Right.
And we're going to be facing some talented running backs, so we got to do something.
Hell yeah, we got Mixon next week, man. Malik Lawson says, how long is Watt out? Hopefully just this week.
Fingers crossed it's just this week.
Dude, it would absolutely suck if Watt were to miss both Bengals games this year. That would suck.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Joe Burrow. I think he's a hell of a quarterback, but I want TJ Watt to torment his ass.
Yeah, of course.
I really do.
Not having Nelson and Hilton hurt this team. If nothing else, the cohesion of the secondary is gone. It definitely is. There's no communication. There's no connection no more. And plus, I've noticed we're not blitzing as much. And I think some of that has to accumulate to the loss of Hilton. But I don't know, why with Watt out, we didn't blitz as much as I would have thought we would, especially with guys like Bush.
Right. I mean, I saw some blitz, the Steelers blitzing. I saw some of that happening, but Herbert just took advantage.
Of course, he saw an open gap on the left or right side and ran for a first down.
And that's something we got to be careful with. We really do.
Yeah.
I mean, have a spy or something. You have Bush, who hasn't really had a stellar season, but he has that sideline-to-sideline speed, and he's a guy that can watch these quarterbacks in case they run it. That's what Bush is for.
Bush needs to step up. He's second-guessing and doesn't hustle to the ball. Kerry Hayward be running backs down. I need that energy. Real shit. Thoughts on Bush? He's been incredibly disappointing this year, and I think that's an understatement.
Yeah.
So, my thing with Bush is, and I think his dad even admitted it on some radio show. Bush might be hurting from the ACL injury mentally. He's scared now because of it. And he's not as physical. He's not hitting the gaps as aggressive as he used to be. He instead of hitting the gaps, he's waiting for the running back to come to him. When that's not his job.
No, it's not. And I can understand he doesn't want to get hurt, but it's
but when
you're a linebacker in football.
Wouldn't something like that follow you the rest of your career then?
And that's what worries me about Bush, because I feel like Bush still has a lot of talent. It's just that he's lacking in that talent. He's lacking in what he could really do. And it's probably because of this mental fear of potentially getting hurt again, but it's football.
If that is the case.
It's professional football.
If that is the case, I'd love to know what Bush is feeling or why he's cutting back this year for sure.
Yeah.
To be real with you. But the whole entire defense has to step up at the same time too.
Yeah, it's not just one guy. It's pretty much it's a whole collective unit.
It is. It really is a whole collective unit, from the offense to the defense to the coaching staff. They all got to continue to step up as the weeks go on, because it doesn't get easier, and we're facing stellar competition coming up. So, you guys have to beat the Bengals for us, please. I'll let you destroy us Monday Night Football. I still have confidence we'll win, but still. I don't know, man. That's next year, but
that is next year.
One game at a time is how I'm looking at it.
That's how we should worry about it.
Ray, you're right. Not just a linebacker in football, a linebacker for the Steelers. We all know how the Steelers linebackers go. If you ain't playing with that aggression, that physicality, bro, then you can kick rocks. So, either get that shit out your mind, wake the fuck up, or you can get out of here. Because that's not how linebackers play in Pittsburgh.
No. They're brutal. They got that brute force attitude, mentality.
That list is long, bro. We'll be here all night talking about it. Listing names.
Literally.
So if you ain't got it no more, then
I mean the door's literally right out there, man.
But hey, I'm not ready to kick him to the curb though.
No.
I'll give Bush another shot, but he needs to get that aggression back. That's for sure. It's not. I don't think it's a physical issue no more. But he needs to get back to that Bush that we really loved in his rookie year.
And even coming out of college.
Yeah.
At Michigan.
But let's see. It's almost 1:20 here, a.m. in the morning. We got to get up early as hell to do some family stuff. But before we get on out here, I want to thank you guys for joining us, man. If you're new, hit the subscribe, hit the like, of course. Quick little thoughts about the game, or final thoughts, rather, is just player of the game, man. To be real with you, I'd probably say Ben.
Ben Roethlisberger. He's the guy that drove us down, that got us points on the board, that threw 3 touchdowns in this game.
Right.
Almost 300 passing yards.
But huge shout out to Deontay Johnson for stepping up tonight. He had an incredible game. So did Claypool. Guys stepped up when they needed to. On the defense side of the ball, the only names I can tell you, Schobert maybe, Hayward and Sutton. That's it.
Maybe Highsmith. Maybe
Highsmith, of course. He was the main edge rusher. But outside of that, the entire defensive unit, specifically the secondary, fucking sucked.
Yeah, it failed us early, and it hurt us. It bit us in the ass.
Maybe we get better with some of these guys back. But the entire team just has to do a little better with these early foes. The play calling, leaving points off the board, leaving guys open, not being capable of stopping the run. Like, they got to fix that shit.
Yeah, they do.
So I appreciate the heart. I appreciate the passion they showed. Gave us some hope. But, you know, there were times we easily could have came out with a victory here by just running the clock down, doing what the Chargers did to us pretty much, flipping the script on them, or just taking advantage of what we could have had. By that, I mean points on the board, or that turnover down sure as hell hurt us, but
Or setting the tone early, since we started off with the ball.
right. But or even clock manager, of course.
Yeah.
Clock manager played a big effect for sure. But anyway, guys, we're gonna get on out of here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, man. Here we go, Steelers. We got the Bengals next week. It's a great team to get a bounce back game against. It really is. I know I said that in week 2 after we lost to the Raiders, but this week it's none better. Because it's the second matchup. It's a bigger divisional game now. They got the win on us in week 3, I think?
Yeah.
And we're coming off a tie against the worst team in the league and now a loss on prime time. It's time for this team to wake up and get a bounce-back win against the fucking Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati, where we all know, even though Ben's 39 years old, Ben still plays good in Ohio. Because that's where he grew up. That's where he pretty much owns Ohio. You might as well give him the key to the fucking state.
You might as well call him the mayor.
Yeah, pretty much.
The mayor of Ohio, he owns that goddamn place.
Right.
But what they showed in tonight's game, heart, determination, fight, have that bleeding into Cincinnati on the road, and get your goddamn win.
I hope so. They fucking better. They really do, because although the AFC is now officially the average football conference, shit can change very quickly, because there's a lot of teams that are so close to our record right now that can change the tide, change the script, and kick us out of playoff contention. It's time to step it up. Tonight was the start of who the Steelers really are. And they didn't get the win, but they showed some passion. Can they keep it up? They fucking better. Heading into Cincinnati next week in a big divisional game to get a win back and increase on the division rankings and a divisional record, then, yeah, absolutely. They need to get a fucking win next week.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
Enough said, man. You guys have a great rest of your night. Thanks for tuning in, man. And you guys can look forward to the weekly predictions we'll do with Cold Steel this week. Again, huge shout to him, man. And, of course, the
Bengals preview,
which will come sooner than usual because Thanksgiving's coming up on Thursday. So hope you guys have a great week, of course, great holiday for sure. But, yeah, short week, but you guys can still expect content coming out. So, but you guys have a great rest of your night, great rest of your week, man. You guys stay safe, stay clean. Safe travels if you guys are traveling for the holiday. Hope you guys have a great holiday for sure. But we'll see you guys in the predictions and the preview and in the next one, guys. So you guys have a great night.
Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace! At the end of the day, though, go Steelers.